Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Ed Romaine, Supervisor of the town of Brookhaven, and this is one of the 9 ambulance buildings that the town operate, but this would not be here but for the vision, commitment, and dedication of scores of people. As you know, the Mastic Beach Ambulance Company occupies a small building about a half a mile away from here. And that building, they quickly outgrew for the needs for this community. And some time ago, a long time ago, the then councilman, my son, Keith Romaine, said to me, "Dad, we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to look to build a new ambulance headquarters." Now, he didn't make it, but his successor and his friend, Dan Panico, picked up the torch and continued. And this would not be here today except for the men and women of the ambulance company and the local community that supported the efforts of this ambulance company to expand. And not to just expand anywhere, but to expand here on Neighborhood Road, the main street of Mastic Beach, and soon to be hopefully totally revitalized. And this is a step in the right direction. So my thank you to the architect, engineers involved. My thank you to Matt Miner over there, who kind of honchoed this project on behalf of the town. My thank you to Councilman Panico's constant leadership. My thank you to the men and women of the Mastic Beach Ambulance Company. Not only for their service, but for their commitment to getting this headquarters going. And I'll just end by saying thank you to the community for their support of this building. But when it's all said and done, communities are not just about buildings, they're about people. And Mastic Beach is a community where people have heart, where people care, where people come together. And we want to make this community a stronger and better community each and every day. And I'll turn it over to my colleague, Councilman Dan Panico.
Thank you, Ed. Well, thank you, Ed, and thank you all really for coming out. This is a long time in the making, and this is an official building that will put an official presence back on Neighborhood Road, which is sorely needed. You know, many people say to me, "Dan, the building looks so nice, it's beautiful, it looks out of place." I say to those people that much of what is around this building is out of place and needs to change. Now, many of us, myself included, who grew up here, our County Clerk, Judy, Pascale, who we're joined by, grew up here in Mastic Beach. We're also joined by Pat Boyle from Senator Croce's office and Penny Hines from Assemblyman Murray's office. We grew up here. We remember, like many of you, and I see a lot of people here who grew up, what Mastic Beach used to be. That chapter of Mastic Beach, in many ways, is closed. I cannot bring us back in time. I can't bring back the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, or when I grew up here, the 80s. Going to Tuffarello's place, Sweet Magic, to buy baseball cards. I can't bring that back. But what we can do is turn the page on a new chapter for Mastic Beach. Write our own new history, a proud history that people will look back on and say, you know what? When they opened that ambulance building on Neighborhood Road that was needed for the people who perform life-saving services for this community and outside this community, that was the beginning. When the community came together and cared enough that they said no more, we are going to raise this community up. That is what we want for you. That is what we want for your families. That is what we want for your children. When I grew up here, you could travel up to Neighborhood Road, to Handy Pantry, to Pizza Place. There was never any fear, never any apprehension that you weren't going to come back or have something run into somebody that perhaps you wouldn't want to run into. That is what we need back here again in Mastic Beach. This is a beautiful waterfront community I am 100% committed to doing every single thing that I have in my power as your councilman. I will tear down every single home that needs to be torn down. We will go after every single slumlord who puts their pecuniary gain over the people of this neighborhood. But it's incumbent on all of you to join us. I tell you that I see Maura Sperry's here, Bill Biondi's here, I don't know if Bobby Miller is here, I see Frank Fogarino, I see Frank from the property owners. Everybody has to come in together and circle the wagons because everyone is needed to heal this community. One person cannot do this. The town can't do this alone. The county can't do this alone. All together, we are going to raise this community up. But back to our regularly scheduled program. And that is this ambulance company building, the hardworking men and women who perform the services. I went to high school with Charles. We graduated together. And I think that's sort of special in the fact that we would stand here today. And as Supervisor Romaine said, this is more than a decade in the making. We were looking at the property, the blighted property next to Track gas station. We were looking on off of Doris Drive. We couldn't find a place, and then we found it. We found a blighted building. We condemned it from a person who has many other blighted buildings, who's going to be hearing more from the town. That's a story for another day. And we put something beautiful in the center of our Main Street. I can't thank the men and women of the Mastic Beach Ambulance Company enough, who go out every single day with one mission, one purpose, and that's to save people's lives. I'm not sure what we're going to do with that other building. That's a frequent question. We're going to figure that out. But whatever we do, it's a town-owned building like this building, it'll be for the benefit of the community. I assure you of that. I want to turn it over now to my good friend, Suffolk County Clerk Judy Pascale, who also grew up in this community. And I thank you all sincerely for coming out. Mastic Beach's best days are ahead. I promise you of that.
I grew up in this community a little bit earlier than Dan did.
3 years.
Couple of years. And I know I see Lynn and Vinny over there and a couple of people that I went to school with. Today is a step towards the rebirth of this community, and it's a very, very positive step. This community raised a congressman, Lee Zeldin, a councilman, Dan Panico, and it's a community that comes together whenever it's needed. And just as importantly, we now have a state-of-the-art facility for the men and women who volunteer day and night to save lives and bring comfort to those in need. So I as a resident, somebody that grew up down on Orchid Drive a few years ago, I personally want to thank Councilman Panico and Supervisor Romaine for allowing this to happen and for spearheading this, and everybody here. And obviously the men and women who come out day and night, all kinds of weather, this is what they deserve, and they've certainly earned it. So I want to add my congratulations to all of you. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce Suffolk County Legislator Rudy Sunderman.
I always like to make it quick, but I like to say this. This is a well-deserved building as a first responder to the men and women upstairs here and down here for the 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 that these men and women respond to. Being out there with them in the field, I can't tell you how hard they work. So this is well-deserved to them. I'm proud to be able to be here to have this building for them. I can't tell you how proud I am out there. The other thing I like the councilman said, we're here. This is great to put it back in the community. One house, one street, one corner, one road. But it takes everybody here today to make this community what it is today. So thank you, congratulations, well deserved. I can't be more proud to be here today. Congratulations.
Well, good morning. My name is Patrick Boyle. I am representing Senator Tom Croce this morning. On behalf of the New York State Senate, on behalf of the 354,000 people in the 3rd Senate District, on behalf of the Senator, we just want to say thank you and congratulations. Thank you for what you do every day. Congratulations on the state-of-the-art, beautiful building. Thank you.
And now I'd like to call up a very important person who's going to introduce the members of his company who are here, the directors, and that is Charles Volger, Chief of the Mastic Beach Ambulance Company.
I just want to echo the remarks of everybody who spoke before me first. As a lifelong resident of this community, I too shopped for baseball cards at Sweet Magic with Dan. And I too have watched Neighborhood Road over the 40 years that I've lived here and thought that we needed to revitalize this neighborhood now. And I think building this building is a testament to how government can work for the citizens of a community. If it wasn't for the dedicated guidance of Ed, Supervisor Romaine, of Councilman Panico, and Councilman Romaine before him, who sat in many meetings with us, who pored over layouts of this community, who discussed our needs, and who moved forward to get this done, we wouldn't be here today. And it's very moving based on some of the things that have happened in this community with regard to local government, to see that the town of Brookhaven is so invested in making government work for us, and particularly Councilman Romaine. If it wasn't for the dedicated work of public servants like Matt Miner and the contractors, Stalco and LK McLean, we wouldn't have gotten this building done in such a timely fashion. And it wouldn't be what I am humbly willing to say the most beautiful EMS facility in the town. We were able to work to get this building done on time for a reasonable cost for the taxpayers and to meet the EMS needs of this community. And I want to thank our neighboring departments, some of whom are here. I saw the Chief of Mastic Ambulance, the Mastic Beach Fire Department, the Mastic Fire Department. I believe that's also a testament to how everybody in public service is dedicated to working together to help the community, to serve the citizens of our community. This wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the chairman of our board of directors, Roy LaRussa. My assistant chiefs, Edward Merchant and Alfred Grabo. The rest of the active and life members of the ambulance company, some of whom are here today, the rest of the board of directors. Everybody is dedicated to serving Mastic Beach, to making Mastic Beach have a bright and wonderful future. And I do want to take a minute to just note this past year, we lost the first chief of the Mastic Beach Ambulance Company, Linda Bullock, and one of our directors, Joseph Galizio. The flag that we are flying here at the building today is a flag that Representative Lee Zeldin flew at the U.S. Capitol in Joseph's honor, because he was as dedicated to the community as the rest of us. Thank you all for coming, and I look forward to being part of the bright future for Mastic Beach and for our Main Street here on Neighborhood Road. Thank you.
We do have a representative from Assemblyman Dean Murray's office, if you want to say a few words.
Congratulations.
All right, that's it. So they've asked me to wrap it up. And all I could say, and the building is beautiful, but far more beautiful than this building are the men and women that volunteer to serve in it. Far more beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen of the Mastic Beach Ambulance Company, thank you for your service. And we'll end by saying, may God always bless your endeavors and protect you as you seek to protect us. And rise up, this community. Rise up. Thank you.
Amen. Can we just say that there's refreshments for the city?
Sure. 1, 2, 3.